Am I the asshole for not giving up a house I inherited? I, F 29, was raised in a Christian household. With that came gender roles that were ingrained in me at a young age. My granddad, however, hated that my parents taught us this way, and as I got older I did too. Because of this I became very close with my grandparents instead of my own parents. I also have an older brother that my parents labeled the second king of the house. For more info, important, my grandparents lived in a beautiful house that had no neighbors, many trees, and a garden. They paid off the house after years and was very special to them. My granddad also had bad problems with his back and a condition that would get worse until he couldn't go on anymore. After my grandmother passed, he got worse and ended up needing at-home care. He didn't want a stranger in his home, so that wasn't an option. I think it was due to my grandmother passing. My parents preached that it was punishment for all his sins, so they wouldn't take care of him and were planning on putting him in a home. I decided to stay with him since it would just be easier. My job can be worked effectively at home and he'd get care from someone who isn't a total stranger. In the time I took care of him, we filled the home with the love and laughter my grandmother brought to it. As my granddad got worse, not a single call. Not from my mom, or dad, or my brother. We were joking about it once and he said, "Maybe I should just give you Missy, the house's name, lol. Instead of your dad. He's just gonna give it to your brother anyway." He laughed after he said that, so I assumed he was joking. Fast forward, the worst happened. I was the one who found him. Had to make the call. All of it. As much as I was pushed away from my parents, I didn't want them to find out the news from a random person. The funeral was the first time I ever truly connected with my parents in years. We hugged and cried together and we were all vulnerable. But then it came time for the will. Now it wasn't some telenovela with all the dramatics, but it was intense. The house that was supposed to be my dad's became mine, as well as many other things that my dad planned on giving to my brother. I was accused of manipulating my granddad into giving it to me, and my brother was just yelling. A week after, my brother came to the house in tears. He was begging me to give him the house since his was too small for his wife and baby. He argued that because it's just me and my husband and we don't want kids, I don't need it. I told him to leave and felt horrible. I feel like an asshole, and so does my family. He's right, I don't need the house. My job pays me good money and I could easily just live somewhere else. On the other hand, though, my granddad wouldn't want him or my dad to have it. I am at a loss here. Am I the asshole? You took care of your grandfather out of love, expecting nothing in return. Your dad and brother gave nothing, and expected everything in return. Keep the house. Your grandfather made the right decision. Not the asshole. It was punishment for all his sins. They shouldn't want the house of a sinner. It's defiled by him living there. And aren't they Christians? Remind them of, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house." On all seriousness, your grandpa gave it to you. He wanted you to live in a house he loved and lived on. He wanted to give that for you. Giving it away to someone who insulted him and treated him as less than is almost an insult to his memory. Allow yourself to have what you deserve and what other people wanted to give you. As my granddad got worse, not a single call. Not from my mom, or dad, or my brother. "Hey op, I currently work as a hospice nurse. Please don't give your family an inch." They couldn't give your grandfather a 5-minute phone call while he was alive, but they think they are entitled to his home? Do not let them guilt you on this. You are the one who stepped up, thinking you would get nothing in return. You took care of your grandfather in the final days and allowed him to stay at home. Literally the number one wish of almost every patient I take care of. The house is yours. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. 1. Change all the locks. 2. Install security cameras. 3. Do all the legal due diligence you need to do to make sure everything is in your name. 4. Create a will stating that should you pass and your husband is still alive, the house goes to him. If he is also gone, then the house goes to, insert your favorite charity. 5. Enjoy that house. Your grandparents wanted you to have it. If they had wanted anyone in your family to get anything, they would have left it to them. You would be disrespecting and dishonoring your grandparents if you gave in to your family's demands. 6. Go no contact with your family. They are who they are. And you don't need them in your life. Not the asshole, and do not give up that house. Respect your granddad's wishes. He wanted you to have it. Keep filling it with love and laughter. Not the asshole. He gave you that house because he wanted you to have it. Honor your granddad's wishes and fill it with happy memories. And it wouldn't be a massive loss if you cut your family out of your life, to be honest. They sound absolutely awful. Am I the asshole for giving my husband a fake when he demanded to drive my car? Edit title. I meant to ask. Am I the asshole for giving my husband fake key when he demanded to drive my car? I'm sorry, I made some errors. Title can't be edited. I.F. number 31 became the only income earner after my husband Jeff, M number 35, lost his job about 9 months ago. He doesn't have a car anymore because he sold it to be able to pay off debts. He started asking to drive my car with the excuse of wanting to look for a job. There are 2 problems with this. First is that I'm a nurse, I work odd hours and need my car most of the time, and he literally takes it all day and comes back late in the evening. Second is that every time he comes home the car either has a busted taillight, damaged front, flat tires, etc., etc., etc. So far I had to spend nearly $300 to get it back in good shape. I told him I no longer want him to take my car, but he said I had to let him drive it so he could continue to look for a job. I told him he could search online, but he said something about scammers trying to pose as potential employers just to get his personal info. Never had this happen to us. Days ago, he went out with my car and I ended up being late for my shift. I called a friend to cover for me and tried to call him, but he returned home at midnight. I had a fight with him after he said he was with friends and time passed by. I took the key of the car and put it under my pillow, then went to sleep. The next morning I saw him standing near the bed wanting me to give him the car key so he could go look for a job. I said no, but he got mad and started demanding I hand it over. I told him fine and pointed towards the sock drawer where we had lots of junk and told him it was there. I lied and he got some old key that looked like it. Once he walked out I locked the door and got in bed. Few minutes later he came back and started pounding on the door asking if I gave him a fake key. I said I did, just to get him off of my back. He started yelling at me saying I was being childish and demanded I open the door and give him the real key. I remained in bed while he kept yelling outside saying I'm giving him lot of shit for not working, yet not willing to let him effectively look for a job. He also said that I'd been testing his patience several times and he's had about enough. He yelled some more then left. I was so infuriated and just maddened about the whole situation. I had a shift to cover and I knew that if he took the car then he won't bring it back in time. I got to my work and we haven't talked. He was in full sulking mode after I returned and kept ranting about how unsupportive and childish I was to pull this stunt. Not the asshole. It's 2022. No one has gone door to door actually looking for a job for at least 20 years. Job searching is done online. He's up to something else. So, this behavior screams substance abuse, alcoholism. The repeatedly damaged vehicle, being gone for hours and unreachable, and attacking you for not acquiescing to ludicrous demands are hallmarks of the condition. It is something that I sadly remember from having an alcoholic father. I'm sorry if I am being an alarmist. This just feels like there is something much bigger happening. Not the asshole. You typed all that out and think your issue is about a car or a fake key. Read it yourself as if a friend wrote it. Not the asshole, I guess. But you've got blinders on. Not the asshole. He is lying. Very few employers take in-person applications any longer. Most will tell you that you need to go to the website and fill out the online app first. His inconsiderate behavior of taking your car and going out to play with friends until you end up late for your work is not acceptable and is immature. You need to look after yourself and your career, as you are the only income in the household. Not the asshole. He's not looking for a job. He's goofing off. He has no intention of getting a job and rather sounds like he's more interested in carousing and spending your money than being an adult. Sit him down and ask him if he wants to stay married, because he sure isn't acting like it. And no, he doesn't get to use your car anymore. He can apply online and take the bus. Not the asshole. IDK if he's conditioned you to think this is a normal dynamic, but it is not. Emo. Get him a hotel room or have him stay with a friend or something for a few days and see how you feel. Do you feel amazingly free? Then he needs to be your ex. Because nothing you said here indicates he's anything but a massive drain on you in every way. Am I the asshole for calling my new kittens my babies? This sounds silly, but hear me out till the end. I, am 24, have been taking care of cats since I was 15. I love them, I love having them around, and so far I've been a cat dad to over 9 cats. My girlfriend of 7 months likes my current cat, Lily, and treats her well. However, she does comment about some behaviors of mine that she thinks are weird. Like insisting on having Lily in bed to sleep. Lily recently had babies, cute little kittens. I was so happy I took a pic and posted it online with the title saying that I'm now a cat dad for these cute kittens. And that they're my babies. My post got lots of likes and reactions. But when my girlfriend saw it, she picked a fight with me, calling it cringe that I constantly refer to these kittens as my babies. She told me it's just weird and low-key creepy. I told her I call myself Thar because I'm the one taking care of them, like a parent and a child. She told me to delete the post because some of her friends saw it and were like, I asked her to explain and she lashed out and said that I can't call myself cat dad and call those kittens my babies. She said that it's creepy and that unless I impregnated Lily then I should knock it off. I was dumbfounded. I said she's being ridiculous and refused to even talk about this anymore, not now, not ever. She threw a fit, then went to stay with one of her friends. Said friend wanted to talk me into just doing what my girlfriend wants to curb the peace, but I stated I did nothing that was personally offensive or harmful. We're still fighting about it and she keeps on about how inconsiderate I am to keep doing something I know she's uncomfortable with. Am I the asshole for calling myself cat dad and my kittens my babies? Hell no. I'm a tattooed son of a bitch with a red neck beard and a hick accent. I'm also a cat dad and have no shame saying it. They are my babies. I'm never having kids and these fluffy bastards are my biggest joy. Your girlfriend can take her toxic gender standards elsewhere. Not the asshole. P.S. Cat tax? Not the asshole, but get your cat spayed. Holy shit. I wonder what would happen if that lady heard me referring to my carnivores plants as my babies, lol. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Keep the kittens. Dump the GF. Not the asshole. I have never heard anyone say that calling yourself cat dad means you impregnated the cat. She sounds jealous of the affections directed towards the cats. But for reals, she sounds like the kind who eventually says, it's the cat or me, and then is all surprised Pikachu face when you choose to take care of your pets. Also, spaying cats is cool, saves them all the hassle of being in heat. Dude, your girlfriend chose a weird hill to die on. I feel like there's more to this than just her not liking that you refer to your kittens are your babies, not the asshole. Am I the asshole for wearing sweatpants in my own home and causing a scene? Tonight my fiancé's friend crashed a slow, chill night in for me and my fiancé to the great annoyance of both of us. Apparently she had some form of super important guy problems and therefore decided to just show up. Since we expected to be home alone, we were both in our stay-in clothes, which for me means sweatpants and a t-shirt. The two of them spent some time talking in the kitchen and I stayed in the living room and decided to play some video games to pass the time before the, hopefully short, visit was over. After a while my fiancée went to the bathroom and as soon as she did her friend came to me in the living room and scolded me for exposing myself to her and that I should quietly go to the bedroom and put some jeans on. My reaction to this, after a few moments of being ridiculously perplexed and offended, was to loudly say, "Please stop looking at and making comments about my dick," which my fiancée heard and came rushing in. I told my fiancée exactly what happened and she decided to ask her friend to leave since she saw that I was very upset. All well that ends well? No. Both me and my fiancé have been absolutely bombarded by texts and phone calls from a whole bunch of people who have managed to call me every name in the book. And threatened. And I honestly do not understand why. I assume I did something wrong since there is literally a dozen women, some of my fiancé's closest friends, lighting up our phones. My fiancée herself is starting to turn and is saying I overreacted, but I still don't see it. So a verdict is more than appreciated. TLDR. My fiancé's friend made comments about my fully clothed body and demands I change clothes. I reacted to it and caused a scene. Am I the asshole? Edit. Apparently she has been telling her friends that I flashed her after her request about the pants. So you guys were right. She lied about it. And that sucks. Not the asshole. And it sounds like she is super hardcore lying and saying you were nude or something. Not the asshole, and that was an awesome and appropriate response. F all of them. Not the asshole. The only reason other people are calling you out is because she lied. She told them you exposed yourself to her. Not the asshole. Don't ever let someone barge into your house and tell you how to dress. If she has such an issue with your choice of leisurewear, then she can leave. The entitlement on her part is insane. Not the asshole. WTF is wrong with your fiancé's friend? Sweatpants are completely okay for staying home, going to the gym, going outside, working, if formal attire is not required. She's a huge awe. Ask them if genders were reversed and some guy told them to go put a bra on in their own home while wearing a sweatshirt because they were exposing themselves in their own home by an uninvited guest, if they would feel the same. Not the asshole.